Joan Ferguson, a character who goes on quite a journey in Wentworth, a woman who you do not want to mess with, a woman with a very high kill count, but at the same time you can't help but love her. Welcome to a Joan Ferguson ranking special. Hey guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life and welcome to another ranking video. Now, this week I'm doing my ranking on Joan Ferguson, which I just know you're all gonna love. Now, I'm going to be ranking some epic and crazy moments and also trying to answer a question that we all want answered. What happened to Joan next? So, grab yourselves a cuppa and get yourselves comfy and let's get this show on the road. Okay then, so starting off this list is 5 Joan Ferguson moments. So coming in at number 5, and it is Joan's backstory reveal. So this is the moment when we get like that flashback episode of Joan when she was in love with Gianna and the baby get taken away, but it's also that bit where, you know, she's just picked Will up from, you know, because Will got arrested after trying to attack Harry Smith, and we get the flashback moment that, you know, Will Jackson was the social worker, and it was just an absolutely epic moment. Even when I go back and rewatch Wentworth, every single time I watch this scene, knowing that it's coming, it just literally gives me goosebumps. It's that good. Coming in at number 4, and it is Joan loses it. So this is at the very end of that goldfish episode, and Joan just loses it, and she literally just smashes up her house, she smashes up the goldfish bowl, and yeah, I just think Pamela Ray was just outstanding during this scene. Coming in at number 3, and it is Hush Hush time. This is of course when Eve Wilder attacks Joan and shoves her in the freezer, but Joan gets out and she's literally like so flipping scary when she crawls out and she walks over to Eve just looking like a demented demon. She then gets down and she, you know, leans right up to Eve's face and goes, "It's hush hush time." Brilliant moment. And coming in at number 2, it is Joan saves Vera. I've said this many times. It's the moment where Joan carries Vera up the grass, you know, because she's just saved Vera from the bomb in the prison. And it's just literally, it looks like something out of a film, out of a movie. It's very emotional. You're emotional anyway because it's the final episode. And yeah, it was very unexpected as well because only like about 2 episodes before this one, Joan was about to strangle Vera in the library with some wire. So yeah, it was very odd and crazy and just fantastic. And coming in at number 1, it is Juice's tongue. Of course, this was always going to make the list because it's probably the most brutalist moment in Wentworth. I don't think even Hush Hush time comes close to this one. This is, of course, when Joan cuts out Juicy Lucy's tongue, and yeah, it's absolutely unforgettable. Okay, now we're going to be taking a look at 5 Joan Ferguson quotes, and there were some bloody brilliant ones that Joan came out with. So these are my personal 5 favourite ones. Coming in at number 5, and it is, "There are 2 ways to rule the rabble. You can try to appeal to the people, or you can terrify them." I absolutely love this quote from season 5. I think this is the moment when Joan was speaking to Juice and trying to set Juice up for top dog. Absolutely love it. At number 4, "My name's Miss Ferguson, but you can call me Governor." Absolute classic. It's the first time we probably get to see Joan Ferguson, and she was terrifying. At number 3, "Who would have thought all that time the real monster was in bed beside you?" Oh, this is the moment where I don't even know how Vera did manage to control herself. It's when Joan dropped the bombshell with Vera in season 5. Do you know what? When I was doing the research for these quotes, some of Joan's best quotes were from season 5. At number 2, and it's, "I am no fan of Lou Kelly, and she killed my goldfish." Absolutely brilliant. This was in the final ever episode, and yeah, it's an absolute classic. I don't think anyone will ever forget this line. At number 1, and it is, of course, "You've licked your last pussy." Oh dear, dear me. This is the moment just before Joan cut out Juicy Lucy's tongue. There are many, many more, and I could probably do like a top 20 Joan Ferguson quotes, but these 5 really stood out for me. Okay, we're now on to the top 3 Joan Ferguson episodes. So these are episodes that are mainly centered around Joan, or at least Joan plays a big part in these episodes. I think you all know what number 1 is going to be, but let's start with number 3. At number 3, and it is Prisoner, Season 4, Episode 3. So this is the episode when Joan comes back into General for the very first time, and of course Joan gets ganged by Juice and her crew when we were expecting B to be the one to bash Joan, and it was all a bit of a shocker. It was very graphic. It's quite a depressing episode. We also get the flashback scenes when Joan was in the mental home and, you know, her doctor was like having sex with her, and then she blackmailed her way out of the mental home. It was absolutely twisted, but it was fantastic. At number 2, and it's The Fixer, Season 2, Episode 9. I touched on this just now. This is the episode where we learn, you know, about the backstory with Will being the social worker. It's just brilliant. Just, you know, in the flashbacks, we also get to see Gianna, who has appeared to have hanged herself. I think later on we learned that the women actually lynched her. Yeah, it was just a great episode. So much happens. Will is run off his bike with the nurse woman. I can't remember her name. Rose. That's her name. Rose. He tries to beat the crap out of Harry. The bird, Doreen's bird, sadly meets a horrible end. Yes, so much happens. Bloody brilliant. And at number 1, repeat after me, guys. Goldfish, Season 3, Episode 8. It's literally one of like the all-time best episodes of Wentworth. It's definitely up there in the top 10 ever out of the whole 100 episodes. Goldfish is a classic. This is when we learn even more about Joan. We see her home life. We see Vera stand up to Joan for the first time. We see Joan lose it. Doreen goes into labour. It is absolutely crazy amazing. Okay. We are now on to 3 Joan Ferguson storylines that I personally wish had happened. So, coming in at number 3, and it is Joan versus Will. I'm really kind of annoyed that we didn't get a completion on this storyline, I suppose you could call it. From the get-go, from the very first episode Joan arrives, she goes to Will and she talks to him about, the social worker storyline. Even though we didn't know anything about Gianna at this moment, the whole reason why Joan's at Wentworth was because she was trying to destroy Will Jackson and pretty much just fuck with his head. We never got a completion on this. Will even buried her alive, for goodness sake. I think it was a massive mistake not to see this story out. It would have been brilliant seeing Joan having a full-on scrap with Will. I honestly thought that Joan and Will were going to end up killing each other in the final ever episode, but unfortunately we never got it. At number 2, sticking with the fighting now, and it is Joan versus Rita. Once again, another failed opportunity. Joan is a fantastic fighter. Rita is a fantastic fighter. However, these two had little interaction until the final episode, or the final 2 episodes, I think it was. And yeah, to me, it's a missed opportunity because they went down the amnesia route with Joan, and we were kind of just left with 10 final episodes then, and it wasn't enough time for there to be a Joan versus Rita storyline, but I just think it's a massive missed opportunity. And at number 1, Joan being an officer. Now what I mean by this is when Joan was arrested at the end of season 3 after the fire episode, it's such a shame that she came back as a prisoner. I swear she could have literally just come back as an officer in some shape or form just for another season or 2 before she became a prisoner. I kind of feel that they kind of rushed that part of Joan's storyline, bringing her in as a prisoner for the rest of the show. Like, it would have been great to see Joan as an officer and Vera as governor just for one season. Then we could have like had Joan brought in as a prisoner. It would have been great to see Joan playing an officer, making life tough for the women and trying to outsmart the officers. Vera would have been like on Joan's back. It would have been brilliant. So yeah, just a bit of a shame that these three storylines never really happened, but we got what we got, and guys, I still love Wentworth. Okay, Joan Ferguson, top 3 kills. Now this is one that I added in specifically just for Joan Ferguson. I can probably do one for Lou Kelly because her kill count was even higher, but I probably am limited to anyone else that I can do this. But anyway, with Joan, let's look at number 3. Joan snaps Anne Reynolds' neck. An absolutely glorious moment that I loved. Couldn't wait for Anne Reynolds to kick the bucket. And yeah, well done, Joan. You made my day on that one. Is Joan strangles Jess Warner. Now, this was the very first time we actually witnessed Joan on screen kill someone. Now, I know that she killed Simone Slater. I know that she killed Harry Smith, or she got Nils Jasper to kill Harry Smith, one or the other. But this was the first time we actually saw it on screen, and it was really, really shocking. It was also the first time we got to see just how strong Joan Ferguson really, really is. So yeah, it was always going to make the list. Now, oh god, I was really torn at this number 1 spot, but it makes sense for it to be number 1, and that is Joan Kills B, mainly for how shocking, memorable the whole thing was. Not happy that Joan killed B, but then it got me thinking. B didn't want Joan to die an easy death. She wanted Joan to be locked away for the rest of her life, and that's pretty much what happened. Joan was tortured by the women. She was hung, she was buried alive, she was like smashed over the back of the head, had amnesia, went through mental torture with Vera. Pretty much Joan went through it, and that's exactly what B wanted when you think about it. So yeah, but Joan killing B has to be one of the better kills because it was probably one of the most shocking deaths. Okay, so this is who I think that Joan Ferguson would love to fuck, marry and kill, okay guys? So I reckon Joan Ferguson would love to marry Vera Bennett just after what happened at the, in the very final episode when she saved Vera. And I always felt like in that final season when Joan was like, learning empathy and stuff, she felt a connection with Vera. So I honestly think she would marry Vera. I honestly think that Joan Ferguson would fuck Doreen Anderson. Joan had the hots for Doreen from the get-go, and yeah, Joan would love to fuck her. And to kill, she would obviously want to kill Will Jackson if she had the chance. She should, I reckon, if she had the opportunity, it would have happened a lot sooner. How it didn't happen, or how these two didn't have a fight, I have no idea. But Joan would love to kill Will Jackson. I bet she has wet dreams about it. Okay, and now on to the final part. What happened next to Joan Ferguson? Okay, so this is what I think happened next to Joan. So she ended up walking off into the night after saving Vera. Now nobody knows that Joan has escaped apart from Vera, and in the very final few moments of the final episode, Jake assumed that Joan was dead in the explosion, and Vera didn't say anything, so I reckon Vera stayed quiet about Joan's escape and everyone thinks Joan is dead, leaving Joan to go off and start a new life. Now, she knows how to obtain fake passports, as we've previously seen. Joan is extremely resourceful, she's a survivor, and I reckon Joan would have gone off to start a new life, maybe even change her image, cut off her hair, and maybe dye it red. However, there is another part of me that thinks that Joan may not be able to leave the country just yet, not until she's got some sort of revenge on Dr. Miller and Will Jackson. They were trying to send Joan to the nut house for the rest of her life just before the prison blew up, and I just don't think Joan would let that one go. I think Joan would kill Dr. Miller and bury Will Jackson alive, and then she'll head off for a new life. How much of a crazy ending would that have been if Joan had actually buried Will, left the country? Wow, nobody would have been able to have found him. I mean, Joan would have seen to that one. Missed opportunities? Maybe. Anyway guys, that was my Joan Ferguson ranking special. So what did you think of today's video? Did you guys enjoy it? If you did, then let me know in the comments box below. Also, I want you guys to let me know which character you would like to see me do a ranking video on next. I mean, I've got a few ideas in mind, but I would be interested to hear your thoughts just to help me to choose which one. Okay guys, well, thank you all for watching today's video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe out there, and I will see you all again very, very soon.